welcome back. Okay, so right now we're going to orient yourself with a smart file and where to find things and where the buttons are. Hang with me. It's going to be a little boring because intros are always boring, but we're going to get through it, and then you're going to feel so much more confident using smart files and how to navigate this. All right, so this is a basic template that I've just created. What you're going to see here in your view is on the left-hand side, this is what ideally you are going to create. And we've just made a lot of different variations so you can see the possibilities here. On the right-hand side, those are the page navigations for you. Your client is going to see the page navigations up top. Do you see that in the drop down? And they also have the next button as a way to sort of navigate on their own when they're viewing the file. So if as you're going along, just remember that actually for them, it's a full screen. So you can always click on the preview button in the upper right corner, and that way you can see what your client is going to see. So this is how that next function will sort of serve you, and then again the drop down above. Okay, and so this page navigation is for you to edit. You can always click on any of these to edit the text if you want to. And if you are a new HoneyBook user who used my affiliate link, this template is already in your account. So you can use it and replace it with your own if you want to. The first thing I recommend doing is going to this paint up here, this little paint button, and applying your company theme. We did that in the last video, and if you haven't done that yet, go back and make sure you watch it so that you have this. You're going to apply company theme, yes, apply, and so that any one of these is going to apply. All of your colors and your fonts are going to apply. So that's one way to do that. I'm going to back out here and go to the template gallery, which is on the right hand side of your gallery. If you click on template gallery, you're going to find some pre-made templates that some other HoneyBook users have already created. You're welcome to use that. Again, if you do, what you'll do here is you'll click on, let's just choose any one here for the sake of that. We'll click on one. You're going to edit this template, and now it's in your template, and you're going to click on this palette. Okay, you're going to scroll down and apply your company theme, save, and you will see that now the buttons have been changed to my font. All the fonts have changed over to company fonts, and so then that's one quick and easy way for you to automatically switch everything over and then start putting in your content that way. Okay, so let's back out and go back to that original template that I was working on with you, and I want to show you the rest. So if you look up top, you're going to see a red dot appear when you make changes. This tells you that there are changes that you have not saved. So if you ever see a red dot, make sure you update the template, and then that way all your changes are saved. It does not automatically save the way that some of the other templates do. Okay? And then there are multiple options for you. First thing I want you to understand is there's a large plus symbol in the middle. That's how you add a block. Okay, these are called blocks. So anything in terms of text or questions or images and videos, those are all going to be a block. Then, if you are within a block, for example, we're going to come back to this. So in services, for example, if you wanted to add multiple services, I would add a service on the little plus symbol here, because this now is contained within the block. So each block has its own parameter of settings that I can control. If I, for example, if I put a block here and I made services here and I added a service here, I created another block. The settings that I choose in here, where it's like select one, select multiple, view only, the selection is required, this is going to be independent of this grouping of services because it's in its own other block. So if you want all the settings that you have set on the right hand side here to be together, this pertains to text and pertains to questions, etc., then you need to create this little, you need to push the little plus symbol on the left hand side, because then otherwise it doesn't. It also gives you less of a gap in between, and this is great for questions as well. So let me see if I can do that for you. We're going to add plus symbol, choose a question format, and instead of choosing the giant plus symbol again and doing the question format again, you will see that there's such like a really big gap in between. But if I actually chose the little plus symbol on the left and chose the question, you'll see that the questions are actually closer together. And again, the settings that I choose for that block will be isolated to that block. There's no other word for it really. We're just going to keep repeating the word block until you get it. So, so hopefully that makes sense, and feel free to email me if it doesn't. But that's the differences between all the different plus symbols everywhere. Okay, so same thing here. If I'm choosing to add a text box under this one, so that I'm just adding that, you can. And then there's this trash can here, but that is within, again, this parameter, this block, so to speak. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you can put background images, and you can put videos. So the videos need to either be a Vimeo link or a YouTube link. And once you've done that, all you're going to do is push the plus symbol, add video, and then you can do video and text or text and video, up to you how you want to do the layout. Okay. And you can always swap them as well if you want to. You can reverse. So you're going to choose this, click on the video to come up with the video controls on the right, and put in the Vimeo link or the YouTube link. And then from there, if you were to click on the margin though, now this drawer on the right hand side is going to pop up settings for this block. There's that word again. And that controls, you know, how big you want the padding to be. You can see I've stretched that here. Content width, you can make it large and really separate them, but this is a video, so it's pretty locked in. You can make 3 columns or just 1 column if you want that, if you change your mind. You can also push 2 videos side by side if you wanted to. Okay, so really, click around, don't be afraid. No one sees this but you, but click around and get used to sort of what happens when you click. So clicking on the margins will generally give you the basic structure for that particular block setting. And if you wanted to then like put an image, for example. So here I have chosen a set of images and I've done 3 columns. And I chose a background image. Okay, so that's textured. And then I chose the opacity here to then decrease or increase. Do you see that situation? So you can do colors. You don't have to do a background if you don't want to, but you have control over how to play with that. Something else to look into is you can, on your invoices, something to be aware of is if you click the margin here, on the right hand side, what you're going to see is the ability to send recurring invoices, offer a discount. You can add additional taxes or like different fees. So if some of you charge like an admin fee that's 3%, then you can put that here under 3%, and then it's viewable. If you can see that here, admin fee is about to show up. If you don't want tax to be visible, like if you don't charge tax for your services, on the right hand side, again, you're clicking this margin. On the right hand side, you're just going to toggle off that that eyeball right here so that it doesn't show up on your invoice. So you're in full control over what is shown and what's not shown. Lastly, not lastly actually, but what I do want to show you next is payment. If you scroll and have a payment page, you're going to be able to click on the margin one more time, and you can control if you set it to credit card, bank transfer, or both. You can ask the clients to leave a tip if you want to, and you can see what that looks like. You can toggle it off if that's not your deal. Or if you do more than one payment, you can force them into an auto pay. If by toggling this, they have to choose auto pay. That's only available if you have more than one payment in your payment structure. Okay, to add pages, you're going to add a page on the bottom. So on the right hand side here, you have all of your pages, And maybe if you're starting from scratch, or maybe you want to break something up, you can totally add a page and start from blank. Most of you are starting from blank, so you can, play around with the gaps and the contracts and videos and images. If you wanted to insert a contract, for example, this is super easy. You're going to click contract. And if you're starting from scratch, I would just start from a blank and copy and paste your contract right in. If you already have a contract from Legacy that you're bringing over, then what you'll do once you've brought it over into Smart Files, if they live in Legacy, it's going to not show up as an option for you to draft over into Smart Files. Okay, so make sure you've converted it to Smart File before you do this step. But what you'll do here is you're going to choose a file that has the existing contract you're looking for, and it's going to pull it right in for you with all the autofills for you. Super easy. If you've applied the company theme, the font should still exist and convert for you. And if it doesn't, you can click on this paint palette and it will do that for you, okay? And then you can name this contract, you'll see that. And then, that's not how you spell. And then on the left here, there are six, they're not green, dots, and you can drag that up and drop it, and now your pages have already sort of like auto sorted itself. One thing I did want to point out to you is I just made a change to this, and it says last edit made seconds ago by you. It does save for you, but it's not public. So like if this is a published template that I'm updating, you just want to make sure that that template, like you click this update template so that they get the latest. Okay, let's just say you're like, actually, I don't need a contract. You can click on the three dots on the right and delete the whole page. Okay, another thing for you to look at, we're going to go to the upper right here and click on the gear. This gear here will give you all the settings for this specific file. So this is the title that your clients see. This is an external name, okay? And then this is where you could update your thumbnails. I use the same, pretty much like same sizing as like a Facebook post rectangle. You don't have to make them visible to clients if you like to name them something that is, just for you and your team to know. So you can turn that off under preferences, so company settings. You can turn that off and no one sees the thumbnails but you. I do find that it's easier to navigate and find my files because sometimes the titles don't always show up. This security authentication code is, you can turn it on if you want to. HoneyBook files are secure. Could they be more secure? Yes, and they give you this option to make your files more secure if you want it. It's a two-step verification. So what it looks like is when you send the file to your clients, they will then get an email. They're going to click on the file. They open it and HoneyBook will say you need to enter a 6-digit code. So they need to exit your file, go back to their email, get the email from HoneyBook, copy the 6-digit code, come back to your file, enter the 6-digit code before they can enter. So this might be great for you if you want to keep it and use it for invoicing or for anything confidential. That's a great one. But if you don't want to, like for me, I don't turn these on because again, the files are secure. They could be more secured. So it's up to you if you want to do that. But this is where you would toggle that setting on or off. Now, just as a no, if you toggle it off, so let's see, I'm going to toggle it on and then I'm going to toggle it off, it's going to ask you if you accept and assume full liability. So you're going to say yes, remove. And then from here until the end of time, HoneyBook is going to remind you that it could be more secure, that setting is available to you. Just ignore them. All right, redirecting URL. So this is great if you, like for example, want to send them into scheduling. If you are doing minis, this is where you would send them into scheduling. For me, I run a membership, so I redirect them to my Facebook group for those who are paid for the Facebook group. Whatever you want to use this for, if you wanted to redirect them back to your website, you're welcome to do that here. File expiration is a great place for you to use if you, for example, want to only hold the date for a week or a month, or if you want to raise your prices after if they took too long to pay the deposit, whatever you want to do. You can turn on that expiration and display the expiration date so that there's transparency to your clients. And then basically they are forced to email you if they try to make a payment beyond that. So then for you to either make the decision to raise their price, turn it back on, or you gave the date to someone else. It's totally up to you. Now, if you have a service block settings, one of the biggest changes is that in Smart Files is that it doesn't automatically create a draft invoice the way that some of you are used to from legacy files. So if you have a service block settings, this means if you give them the option to choose a package, for example, one of these, if you have this element and block within your file, you will now have the option of a service block setting in your year. Okay, this only comes on then. So then you can ask for it to then generate a proposal or an invoice that you will then design. So convert your proposal from legacy and make it blank. Make sure there's no packages in there, because whatever they choose from this file, that's how you're going to connect the two files, is from this toggle point. If you, for example, in this scenario, I have included the invoice and payment based on the selections that they have made in the previous pages. That's how I set this up. So all of this is going to be in one file instead of previously you would have separated them out. Because I have that, you will notice that this toggle does not exist for me because they are already paying and they already have a payment plan. But if you don't, then this is one option for you, is to then tell HoneyBook that you do want them to generate an invoice and a contract for you, okay? So that's option is totally yours. The other thing I want you to orient yourself with is next to it are 3 dots, and this is a great place for you to send a test to yourself so you can see what it looks like. You can duplicate this template, you can star it. One big thing I want to point out to you is to edit email settings. That's what I like to do, and you can pair this with like a templated email, okay? And that works out really, really well actually. So I'm going to say that this is the email. If you don't remember what you titled it, you can preview, and this is like what they would see. And then you can choose to display your logo or not. So you can see that preview on the right-hand side. And most buttons start with something called Get Started. That's the default text. And if you don't like that, because sometimes it's like view your invoice or approve your draft, or you're just trying to get a mood board approved or view a questionnaire, you can edit the text to this specific file right here. Okay, so if you wanted to see what it looked like one more time, you can preview the email, scroll down, and you'll see that it says View Services. And then you're going to click Save. So that's how you navigate the basics. We're going to deep dive so much more. If I've lost you somewhere, make sure you email me. Watch the next couple of videos because a lot more clarity will come. I definitely, this is going to be a lot helpful if you already know what you want to create. But if you wanted to get an idea, I just want to one more time point out the template gallery, and that might jog your design juices. Hang in there, don't get too overwhelmed. I'll see you in the next video.